What's up, Bleach fans? It's time for the latest episode review for Bleach, 1000-Year Blood War Arc, episode 36, entitled Baby, Hold Your Hand 2222. It also has a subtext title alongside of the episode title with Never Ending Dream or My Never Ending Dream or something along those lines, likely in reference to MAYURI in this episode, right? But, yeah, so what I really like about this fight, not a whole lot changes from the manga version of this, other than, of course, we're still moving things around, because technically we're not 100% finished with Volume 69, we're not technically finished with Volume 70 or 71 quite yet, just because of the way Kubo and the anime staff have decided to shift around some scenes, move around some things and stuff, more so just to break it up a little more, in the sense that we're not just like, once again, we followed the MAYURI fight at the beginning, and then we broke off last episode to follow Shunsui and his Bankai reveal and fighting against Lily Barrow. Now we're jumping back to this fight, so sort of showing that these things are all happening concurrently, right? And I mean, you could argue that maybe it was not necessary to do this or something like that, but I think it's great. I think it's fine because it keeps our interest, a little heavier. It keeps us a little more engaged, like what are they going to change next? Now this episode, as I said, other than something at the very end, which is just one little 30 seconds or a minute, nothing really here changed. I didn't notice anything major that changed here from the manga adaptation, from the manga version of what goes down in Volume 71, or 70 into 71, I should say. And all I can say is, I really like this. I loved it in the manga as well, but this is probably one of MAYURI's best fights, one of MAYURI's best moments, just because it not only showcases, it's very heavy, a NEMU moment and stuff like that, but it's also a MAYURI moment. MAYURI has been, and we jump back into the scenes where they talk about, where little Nemu's talking to Akon and stuff like that, and being like, why does, MAYURI treat me like this? Why does the captain treat me like that and doesn't say my name anymore and yada yada yada? And I like that we're giving some context. Once again, MAYURI is an evil scientist, right? He is straight up evil, okay? There's nothing nice or ethical about what he does. And his treatment of NEMU is quite, awful, right? But the fact that we see these scenes of MAYURI is unable, or he's so emotionally detached or so deranged that he's not able to express himself properly, is that he is very proud, and he didn't even really recognize it or realize it up to the point that NEMU, during this fight is really when he was not allowing himself to think after all the failed attempts at trying to beat, and here's the thing, the motivation for doing this was trying to defeat Kisuke Urahara in intelligence. MAYURI is unlike Aizen, which Aizen himself, by the end of Soul Society also recognized this, that Kisuke Urahara is the smartest guy in Bleach. He's the most intelligent, and, his inventions and his innovations and stuff, he's just a genius, even greater than Aizen himself or Mayuri Kuretsuchi. It took Aizen a very long time to acknowledge this fact, and because he's quite arrogant and stuff. MAYURI always begrudgingly accepted that fact, that Kisuke, for now, was greater than he was. And he was always feeling he was always playing second fiddle, he was always that kind of idea. The NEMU project was not only this device or this idea brought forth from MAYURI himself, but also as a way, it was a twofold thing. It was to be his magnum opus, to create something from nothing, right? But also something that Kisuke Urahara had not done or could not do. It was a twofold thing for MAYURI, and the fact of the matter is, it came full circle here. It's finally been acknowledged that he was able to do this, that NEMU actually was a 100% created from nothing Soul Reaper on her own, who could learn and think for herself and all these great things. And it's just like, and it, it's just handled incredibly well. Like, we can look at Nemu's, but everybody looks at only how Nemu has grown now, and like, she wasn't like this before, and look at her go, and she's a badass, and she cares, and she's got connection with her feelings and stuff like that. And oh my god, how could, she, at the end of the episode here, how could she die like that and stuff? And she just, everyone treats this as she finally got some autonomy, But I like to think she had this autonomy basically for a long time. She just was following her captain's orders, Mayuri's orders, the entire time, up until the point where she, recognized and finally was able to step at least 1 foot out from behind his shadow, in a sense. I like to think that Nemu, for many years, because I don't think we're giving a time frame as to when Nemu the 7th was born. Like, she could be decades and decades old at this point, right? Because Soul Society, of course, works much differently. But the fact of the matter is I like to think, ever since we met her, since Soul Society, she had the capability and the capacity to do what she does here. She just chooses not to. Not really out of fear or anything like that, because she has a lot of like attachment and respect for Mayuri. Respect for their own creator, I guess, is the thing, no matter how much they abuse them. But it's a nice scene and all, but I think Nemu's just finally like, you know what, no, like, this is our final battle and stuff like that, and she's just finally come full circle with it. You know what I mean? And it's nice and stuff like that, but I feel like she's had this autonomy for a while. She just never had an opportunity or a reason to showcase it to Mayuri, if that makes sense. And Mayuri is here like, I don't remember teaching you that. You noticed this, you were observing me this whole time, and you noticed that I made a mistake, and you went behind my back and corrected it. She never would have tried to pull something like that before, and now she's pulling it now. And it's just like, okay, and also like, I don't remember teaching you this, I don't remember teaching you that, and she's like, are you saying that you're learning all on your own, without my, say-so, without my tutelage, without anything? And then was sort of like, I don't know, but kinda, yeah, and now let me show you the fruits of your labor. Let me show you what you've created, what I can do. It's my turn, sort of idea. I like that. I really like that, and I think part of the reason is because they're fighting against the left arm, because they're fighting against Pranita, the literal embodiment of progression, of advancement. Literally, right there in front of us, well, on our side, we have Nemu, the other physical, literal embodiment of achievement, of progress, right then and there. Not only progress in the sense that she stayed alive and we get the whole backstory, once again, it's the same as the manga, but the fact of the matter is that they're both the same. They're both at just this embodiment of, here is scientific progress, here is advancement. In a somewhat, one from a scientific standpoint and one from the actual word's meaning, So it's a very... When you start diving into that, it's no different than the fact that I saw a Reddit, or I think it was Reddit, it might have been a Discord post, about the two arms of the Soul King, and how, and once again, this was the manga as well, but I don't remember ever hearing somebody talk about this connection, that the fact that the Mimi Hage has the eye on the back of the hand, and it's only one pupil. Unlike all the other eyes of Yuha and the Soul King and stuff, this is a one-pupiled eye, half closed, looking backwards. On the back of the hand, in the past, in behind, stillness, the representation, while Pranita's is, of course, on the palm of the hand, in the front, looking towards the future, for advancement, for progress, and has, once again, the two pupils, to show, 1, 2, taking a step, one more number, one more, so I like that connection here, and once again, we can draw these same sort of parallels in a different way from the fact that both of these, both Nemu, Mayuri, of course, being the benefactor, the creator of Nemu, but Nemu being this, at the same idea, being this scientific achievement that Mayuri hadn't realized she was already perfect. Or, I mean, I know we hate the word perfect, but she was already everything he wanted. You know, he had done it for, as I said, has it been decades? You know, because I would argue till the Soul Society, or at the very least the Arrancar arc, Nemu was already learning and capable and everything. She was already at this stage, just had no reason to show it to Mayuri. Or go, you know, so, I mean, you could make the argument that she's only doing it now because she finally reached this level of advancement. Either way, the point is that Nemu's basically showcasing, I've been behind you or beside you this whole time. You succeeded. Your greatest achievement, your magnum opus, has been staring at you in the face day in and day out, and you never even, you know, for such a smart man, he was totally blinded, you know, totally got blinders on, not even paying attention to the fact that he's done it. He's done something worthy of becoming one of the Royal Guard. He's done something that no one else in the Soul Society has done, not even, as he points out, Kisuke Urahara. And that is such a good, it's great for Nemu, but it's also really great for Mayuri that he's finally, and it feels like a step forward for him as well. This whole battle and this whole, the philosophy of advancement and progress and stuff is really evident in all three characters, Pranita, Mayuri, and Nemu in this fight. And of course the fight itself is really good. I mean, it was a good fight. He breaks out of the Bankai, uses a bow. Mayuri's still in trash talking to him like, really? How shameless. You, the left arm of the Soul King, like you're proud to say you're a Quincy? Get the out of here, you know? And the way that, of course, we needed that backstory to explain why she's Nemu the Seventh. And Mayuri's advanced techniques is the only reason Nemu the Seventh was able to survive and stay viable, was because of the one thing that Pranita can't handle. Nemu, you know, of course, destroys this damn thing and stuff. To stand back, Captain Mayuri, you know, I'm going to show you, you know, you've done it, like, I'm here, you know, you made me and I'm awesome, I'm a badass. And it's a really nice moment and stuff. And then the whole idea of Nemu dying after just showing off and stuff like that. And it's like, wait, what? And even Mayuri's like looking on like he's got this. And we have the Silent Portal, we have that whole fucking thing with him and stuff about, did you think she was actually perfect? You know, I thought that was the death of science and blah, blah, blah. And Mayuri is, I do like to think that Mayuri is somewhat, whatever emotions are remaining in Mayuri, I would like to think that he was definitely at that moment, and for, you know, for a moment, when, especially when he gets into the pod and stuff, I like to think that he is somewhat saddened at the very least, if not more. The fact that, yes, this is a great advancement for his research and stuff, and his achievements and his goals, but Nemu's still gone. You know, and I like to think that some form of him is still human in some regard, that does bother him from a just non-logical point of view, that Mayuri was not, you know, heartbroken, I don't think is the right word, but you know what I mean? I like to think there's some emotional attachment there where he's like, yeah, that's all great, but god damn it. You know, like I'm gonna sort of like, I'm gonna miss her, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of hard because he is very much her like father in a sense and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know, some type of familiar bond of some description. Anyways, because we do get that scene, we get it here, but we in the anime, but we get the scene, of course, in the pod at the end of the manga and the end of the fight as well. And it's just like, yeah, like, so he's still thinking about her, right? So that's kind of nice. Even for the crazy, evil, mad scientist who tortures people, you know. For some reason, we're rooting for this guy again. Okay. But yeah, no, that it's really cool there. The fact that, you know, the brain is the only reason with the whole rapid cell division and stuff like that, because the cells stop doing what our cells do. Very similar to human bodies, is the same idea, is our cells continue to replicate, and eventually, once they stop replicating, it's not when we stop growing, that's when we die. When cells just eventually stop replicating, and we haven't been able to figure out, there's a lot of scientific stuff in the real world about that. If we could figure out a method to continue to have cells advance and continue to replicate themselves at the same rate when you're in your 20s and your 30s and stuff in a healthy body, there's no reason you can't live for hundreds of years. that's what happens. The cells die and the human body breaks down. It deteriorates. So, and that's what was happening with the NEMUs prior. So, Mayuri artificially created what they're talking about in the real world is a way for the cells to continue, no matter what, to rapidly expand at an accelerated and a crazy rate. The only thing blocking that rate and keeping it moderated is her brain. The neurons in the brain and stuff like that. And the thing is that Mayuri took the brain and Pernida ate up Nemu's body, and what a worthy sacrifice, because then even the left arm of the Soul King can't take that kind of shit, right? It's just constantly dividing until it's way too much, right? And it's just going to implode upon himself continuously until there's nothing left to even attempt regeneration, right? Because I will say that's the one thing I really wonder why his Bankai, why Asujizo did not work. Why was he able to break out of that? I'm not fully getting why that didn't work. I mean, once again, it's a very cool fight, and I'm glad that we got the NEMU stuff. But it's just like, I think that should have worked, Or maybe had Pernida, maybe had it gone on just a little bit longer, sort of like Senjumaru's Bankai, all the Quincy's were losing. Had they not activated, had Yuha not done what he done, had the Ash Wallen or whatever, the Volt Standing, I forget which words are which anymore. But the same with the Senjumaru stuff in the anime-only parts of this. It's like, she technically won. Had there not been the power-up right before everyone was literally dead, then... then she defeats the entire Royal Guard of Yuha with one Bankai. So, yeah, so I am wondering that. But anyways, no, the fight, it was well animated. As I said, it follows the manga, and I just like all the details, about advancement, progress. This is Mayuri. Mayuri's character arc has officially come to a close. Nemu's character arc has come to a close. Pernida revealed as the Soul King, and how he got defeated by, of course, the mad scientist, the guy experimenting on Quincy's. That's all nice and poetic. And then at the very end, of course, now, I'm not sure if we're going to be jumping back to the Shunsui battle for episode 37, because we did get Basby finally confronting Hashwalt with of course, the other Sternritter, the zombie girl, and the one who eats a lot. They're attacking the foot soldiers and stuff like that, right? Which is gonna go probably as well as we all expect. But now we're gonna, at the end of the episode, we saw Basby finally confronting Hashwalt. So we're gonna probably likely jump and piece together 69, 70 sort of idea, and then continue on from there. But as I said, I think there's going to be an expansion here. There wasn't anything added to this episode, as I said, but I feel like the Basby Hashwalt backstory is going to have a number of extra scenes, probably take up a majority of the next episode, if that's where we're going. But since they teased that at the end of this episode, I'm thinking that Shunsui's is going to not be... We might jump back to that, because the Hashwalt Basby part might not be the entirety of the episode, but maybe if it is, we'll jump back to Shunsui for episode 38. So, anyways, what did you guys think? I thought it was a really good philosophical episode when you really break down the characters and the moments and stuff like that. As I said, this is concluding Mayuri's journey and his goals, in a sense, for us, the readers. It concludes Nemu's as well, so we get two characters, arcs, and development concluded here. So there's quite a lot you can dive into. I mean, you can discuss the whole as a whole character discussion, really, with this big conclusion here. So, but I do like that they're not adding on, they're not piling on additional stuff when they don't feel they need to. In the manga, the fight was really good the way it was. So, I mean, we had a few small changes at the beginning of the fight in episode 34, which were fine. But there was no reason to change this part from the Bankai till now. There was no reason to change anything, really, from the manga, because it flowed and worked, and the dialogue and the scenes and everything just worked panel for panel. So why fuck with it, right? So I do like that. I like that they're not doing it just for the sake of doing it. They're doing it when they think it's necessary. And probably very heavily influenced by, once again, Kubo. As we know, he's working very hard with the anime staff. So, Anyways, that's it from me, guys. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys back here for episode 37 of Bleach 1000 Year Blood War Arc. Looking forward to it. Hope you guys are too. Have a good one. See ya.